This is an example with multi-level menus to demonstrate many different programming. In this one, we're just going to write a quick little program that has a menu that will display other menus. We're not actually going to implement any logic in this. We're just going to do the menu options. But I want to demonstrate how you can have a main menu call a method that displays a submenu that then has options that then returns back to the main menu. Okay. So we're going to write a main menu. It's going to have three options: process, setup, and quit. And then when we hit process, we're going to call a subroutine or another method that displays another menu option with with a few choices and a return to main menu. Okay, and we'll do the same thing for option two. We won't actually implement anything in those methods. Our experiment here is just to practice on writing multi-level menus. Okay, so let's jump in and do that. So here's JDoodle. I'm going to need my scanner. Let's go ahead and import that. Let's go ahead and do the main. So we're going to do a keep going loop here, and we're going to need our scanner. So let's go ahead and declare a scanner. And then let's do a keep going loop. Okay, so keep going. Let's see, we need to add an extra period in there. So now we'll do while keep going. We'll put our blocks in. We're going to do a prompt. So we'll have a new line there, and then we'll have option one. Let's see, what were the options? Process and order, set up a customer. So process and order. Option two. Option three is to quit. And I'm cutting and pasting here just to save myself some typing. So fine to cut and paste, just make sure that you are doing all the edits that you need to. Lastly, we will invite the user to see, and I don't need, I am cutting and pasting, but I don't need all the new lines in each line, in each row. So lastly, we're going to invite the user to enter an option. Make a selection. Okay, and then we'll do the scanner. So even though it's 1, 2, 3, we're still going to use a string here. So we're going to say string input equals, and I'm going to use a string because I don't really need to do input validation. It's either going to be 1, 2, or 3, or it's going to be invalid. So I don't need to do an input validation to get any valid integer. I just want 1, 2, or 3. So I can do that with a string without having to write a bunch of input validation logic. So that's going to be scanner.next line. And we don't need to worry about uppercase or anything like that here. So then we have a switch statement. So switch input. And if I'm going to do case one, and we'll say, we'll just break there. We'll come back and put our method in there. Here's case two. That needs to be in, it is a string break, and then get that lined up right. Case three. In this case, it's going to be a keep going equals false because 3 is the exit option, and then we'll break, and then we'll put in the default, which will just be notice I'm keeping all my indentation clean, keeping all my blocks clean. I'm paying close attention to all of that as I write the code so that I don't have to fix it later. So if I don't enter 1, 2, or 3, I'll say that is not a valid option. and break. Let's clean up that spelling. Okay. All right. And then at the end of my switch statement, the while loop will continue, and then we're done. So let's go ahead and run that, make sure that it works. I didn't make any syntax errors. I did make a syntax error. I misspelled next line. So at line 13, I've misspelled next line. So we can go back to line 13. Okay, let's run it again. Okay, if I hit option 1, it should just come back to the menu. It doesn't do anything because we haven't implemented that yet. If I had option 3, then it should, the program should terminate. Okay, done. Okay, let's go ahead and implement a submenu. So we're going to do process and order. We're going to come in here on option 1, and we're going to say process order. And we'll send the scanner. And then let's go ahead and implement that. We'll put it here. So it's going to be public, static, void, and it's going to be called process order. Takes one parameter, which is a scanner. Get the block set. And so now this will be a submenu, okay? So our submenu will look very much like the main menu here. It's going to print out a menu. It's going to have a switch case with an exit, etc. So, but we don't need a while keep going because we're in a method here. We can just use a return instead of the keep going. So we'll just do a while true loop here. So then we just do the options. So I'm just going to go ahead and save myself a little time, and I'm just going to do a little cut and pasty here. Make sure we get all of the blocks. Let's see, I think I got an extra block. Yeah, I got an extra. Okay, so cutting and pasting again is fine, but you got to make sure you, in that case, I cut and paste too much. I had an extra block, which would have caused me some problems. So here I'm just going to do option 1. This is going to be option 2. And then this would be returned to main menu. Okay. Please make a selection. So now here in option 1, I'm just going to say system.out.println. You picked option 1. Okay, we would normally call a method here, but the purpose of this exercise is just to practice doing submenus. So we don't really need to call the method. Okay, and so here we don't need to keep going. It's false. We'll just do a return. We don't need the break in that case because as soon as that return hits, the code ends. Then we'll leave our default option there and we'll run it. So let's run that and see if we did that correctly. Okay, so I made no syntax errors. So if I go to process and order, I should get a submenu. Option 1, option 2. If I enter something incorrect here, it should just say that's an invalid option. If I enter option 2, it should say you picked option 2. And then if I want to do return to the main menu, I should go back to the main menu. Okay. Then I can go back. I can do set up a customer, which we haven't implemented yet. And then I can quit. Okay, let's go ahead and do the second submenu. So in this case, it would be set up a customer. And we'll send the scanner. Okay. So let's see, set up a customer would go here because I like my methods in alphabetical order. Okay, get the methods in there. And then we would implement another submenu here. I'm just going to go ahead and cut and paste this whole while loop again. Just to save myself some typing. But you get the idea. So now this is going to be, so maybe this is enter a new customer name. Maybe this one says, mark customer inactive. Maybe they're not allowed to buy from you anymore. And then return to the main menu. Maybe this one has third option. So we can say the option 3 will be change customer name, something like that, maybe. And then option 4 will be the return here. And then so now we can say you picked option 1, you picked option 2. We can say for option 3, I'll just copy case 2 there. So for case 3, we would say, oops, I put it in the wrong place. So get my break back in there. And an extra break that I don't need. Picked option 3. And then my return here would be option 4. Okay. So you see that the code in each menu is basically the same structure. It just has different menu options and then different methods in the case. So the text of the menu would be different, and the method or the action I take in the case would be different. But the structure of every menu is basically the same. Let's run this, make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Okay, so if we do option 2, enter new customer, change customer name, return to the main menu with the program. Okay. All right. So that's an example of a menu-driven setup where we have multiple menus, a main menu with 2 submenus with different options in each one.